Hey everybody, Playtendoguy here, and today I'm bringing you my review / impressions of the beta for one of the biggest games of the year, Destiny 2. The Destiny 2 beta has been available for everyone since 6 PM on Friday the 21st of July, and will be running until Wednesday the 26th of July, and I've played a fair amount of the beta, around 10 hours or so I'm pretty familiar with the game. Let's see how they did with the game, shall we? The original Destiny is around 3 years old now, and when it was released it was one of the most hyped games ever, and with a budget of $500 million it was the most expensive game in history, and the result of all that money spent was a rather disappointing and lackluster experience that, while sold very well, was a bit of a joke in many gamers' eyes. The rich storyline that was promised didn't deliver, and in truth there wasn't actually any story at all. The game was incredibly repetitive, and the open worlds you explore were rather empty. All in all, the game felt rushed, and Bungie knew that because they were releasing many different updates and expansions to improve the game. And while I've heard good things about them, I never bothered getting them, so Destiny 2 for me should be a huge step up from the original then. You start off the beta by picking your Guardian class, and unfortunately there's no new Guardian classes here, only some new subclasses. It would have been nice if there were some new classes in the game, but hey, there might be later on down the line. Once you've done that, you'll then be zipping off straight into a beautiful cinematic opening cutscene of Earth being invaded by Cabal. It's really good stuff, and it certainly does show Bungie has learnt their lesson with a rather decent script filled with plenty of character. Anyway, after the rather lengthy cutscene, you'll be taking control of your Guardian, and you will be exploring the city trying to rid it of Cabal. As the first level is very much like a tutorial with loads of explosions and plenty of enemies that shouldn't bother you too much. One of my main faults with the original Destiny single player levels was that it felt boring and lifeless, but through this level it shows strong improvement as the levels feel lived in, especially the beautiful neon looking marketplace. As the level drew to a close, it took me around about half an hour to complete it, and it felt very much like the original Destiny in the gunplay and gameplay department, which is no bad thing as it was always incredibly strong. The levels still consist of going to a place and shooting loads of enemies, and I don't think later levels in the full game will change that, but it'll be interesting to see how they pan out. Once you completed the level, that's it for the single player stuff, as then you get access to the game's main selling point, the multiplayer. And the real big change here is PvP modes now have been resized to 4v4 instead of the original 6v6, and it does seem to make the matches seem less hectic but still enjoyable. There's 2 multiplayer modes on offer. First up is Old Favourite Control, which plays the same as you remember. You have to capture and defend zones from the opposite team, and it's still as fun as it was in the original. But there's also a new mode called Countdown. Countdown sees 2 teams of 4 fighting. One team has to plant bombs in the opposite team's base, whilst the other team has to defuse the bombs whilst defending their base. The roles switch every round, and the mode is pretty enjoyable, and the rounds are rather quick and snappy. It may not be hugely original mode, but it does work well, and I can see this becoming a favourite when the game's fully released. The 2 maps playable in the beta are serviceable. Endless Valve is only playable in Control, and Midtown is only available in Countdown. Both maps have plenty of secret routes and vantage points, and it'll be interesting to see what other maps will be on offer in the full version. And on to the final slice of gameplay now, the brand new Strike, which sees 3 Guardians taking on a massive Vex horde. The Strike certainly feels much compelling than the single player mission because it doesn't hold your hand and the firefights can get quite hectic and a bit hard. The Strike also feels much more open than the one in the previous game, but it's still a little bit linear, but there's plenty of platforming here this time, which is a nice change. The Strike doesn't take very long to complete, and there aren't any new enemies, which is a shame, but overall the Strike was very enjoyable. And that is all what's on offer with the Destiny 2 beta. Yes, it's a little bit short compared to the original's beta, but that one gave you around a third of the game to try for free, which was a bit too much. Anyway, conclusion time now, and at the end of the day, Destiny 2 is very much the same as the last game, but with a nice new coat of paint and a few new additions and mechanics. It won't win over any new critics, this is a safe sort of sequel that will appeal more to fans. There are improvements here, and it's interesting to see how much content will be in the final game, as I thought the first one did lack a bit. Just go in expecting a more refined experience, and Destiny 2 will not disappoint. Thank you for watching my review / impressions. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming. Bye.